This is how I feed chicken manure to my existing worm bin. I just add a bit of newspaper, junk mail shreds, and this is a bucket of chicken manure, chicken poop, and some of the pine shavings. I've not let them sit out to mature, so they are going to heat up. They are going to, add some ammonia to my bin. But there are no worms in this section right now, and so I'm gonna pour this over here and then cover it up with my existing bin material, and it's up to the worms if they want to come in this corner or not. I'm going to cover it with my existing bin material and all my working worms, and so they can decide to burrow down in this material or make their way on the other side of the bin where I've just dug in some old fermented bananas. I have a very wasteful ferrets, and I will add this food to my existing worm bin on this corner and see if the worms will like it, if they will migrate to it, and how long it will take for them to finish this food. I will check back on this in about a week, but the results will be at the end of this video, so stay tuned. I am going to moist this so we can start breaking down, and so let's check back on this in about a week and see what happens. Okay, change of plans. I know I said at the beginning of this video I was going to check on how the chicken manure is being composted over here on this corner of my bin, but I can already tell just by uncovering my bin that I'm running into problems here. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love this nice and beautiful pure vermicompost. However, I can tell you that my worms are just hanging out a little bit too much at the top of my bin, which tells me they're not happy with what is down below. And here, this yellowish stuff, there's a lot of those little, they're not mites, they're little pot worms, so maybe they don't like this. Yep, and here it is. Too many worms at the top of my bin. And they're all collected in a little corner over here. I'm not gonna take the worms out of my bin, but I did originally say I was not gonna disturb this corner of the chicken manure for about a week. Change of plan, obviously. So I'll cover this part right here. Lots of beautiful vermicompost on top. You see the worms are on top over here. That tells me that they did not like the state of the compost, the chicken manure I put in here. These worms are huddling in one spot at the top here. I am going to take them and remove them to the right of my bin. They're still healthy, doing well. I said originally I was not going to check on the state of this chicken manure until about a week from now, but since the worms don't seem to like it, I'm gonna fluff up this manure. I'm gonna correct conditions with adding more shredded cardboard and water and kind of let it stand alone. That's why I'm digging this little divot in here, and let's see what we got. Well, there's a lot of worms over here still. They seem to be happy. Okay. All right. And we're coming down to the manure part over here. Okay. Not too bad. There's a lot of worms that seem to be digging down in here, working on the manure. Okay. This is better than what I expected it was going to be. So perhaps the worms that were huddling at the top were my younger, less mature worms, and maybe my older worms are able to handle these conditions of the manure a little bit better. As you see, they love hiding out in the layers of the cardboard also. So I put cardboard in my bin, not because I need it to protect off any holes or any escape routes, but because they just like to huddle and be antisocial sometimes, and that's okay. So I am going to add a little bit more shredded cardboard in here, dilute this ammonia a little bit, and see if my worms will huddle at the top again, or if everyone will be happy in this bin. I had to interrupt the video because I have some fresh eggs being hard boiled on the grill. It looks like 2 of them cracked. That is okay. They will continue to cook when they're off the grill. Cooking eggs this way gives your hard boiled eggs more of a smoky flavor. I'm going to add a bit of shredded cardboard over here, and shredded junk mail newspaper. I'm going to dilute this part quite a bit. And I'm going to mix it up and get some water. I'll be right back. Okay, get this all mixed up. And this is in an attempt to dilute the chicken manure. Mix it up with some good vermicompost, shredded cardboard. It's quite neutral. It's also considered bedding and feed. And since this is quite dry, I'm going to add quite a bit of water to that. I have a wooden bin, so water gets soaked up in the walls. It also seeps out in the bottom corner, so I'm not too worried about adding too much moisture. It will just drain out at the sides, get soaked up by this cardboard. No worms are gonna drown. They definitely won't be dry. Okay. So this chicken manure is now diluted with more shredded cardboard and water, and it's full of worms. If they don't like the situation, they will act like the other worms did. They will come to the surface and kind of huddle up, unsure where to go to safety, even though they had 3/4 of the bin to go to. I have some banana peels in here, and I have some ferret food over here at the bottom. So they just kind of panicked, and we're all just huddled up above at the surface of my bin. And put some cardboard on top of it. I'm going to top it off with some of my bin material, and I'm going to cover it up again with the moist newspaper, and I will check on all of these probably tomorrow. If this is the way they reacted today, I'll be back and tomorrow check on their condition and rectify the pH balance if I need to. All my worms are safely tucked in again. I've covered it with the newspaper and added water on top of it in case I have many worms that are not happy again tomorrow. Later today, they can come up to the surface and breathe through their skin because they need moisture to breathe through their skin. And perhaps they come up to the moisture in the newspaper to kind of clear their skin from whatever they were just exposed to. I post these videos of my, I wouldn't say failings, but of my trials and errors. I post them so you guys can learn from perhaps my mistakes. So what I've learned today is that when I added the chicken manure, my worms were not happy. And it's probably because my chicken manure was not properly aged enough. So I need to learn to let my chicken manure set out and pre-compost for maybe 4 weeks before I added, and see if I will still run into problems with that. All right, I will check on the worms tomorrow. If there's no problem with them, I will show you the progress of the chicken manure that is posted in this one corner. The ferret poop, ferret food that is tucked in this corner, and then the bananas over in this corner. I'll keep you posted.